Good afternoon, all. Here we are, about 17 miles south of Tucson, at a location which is going to be very interesting. You can see behind me, put it up there, gotta be careful of RF radiation. So specifically, we are in Grass Valley, Arizona, and we are at the Titan II ICBM Nuclear Missile Museum. And there's an actual nuclear missile there. Now, in 1958, they developed the Titan II. That was actually Martin Marietta, and proposed it to the Air Force. Air Force loved it, and they ordered them up. There was a total of 54 Titan II missile silos across the United States. This one became operational in 1963 and then was decommissioned in 1988 with the SALT Treaty. And what I'm standing in front of right now is the RF antenna that the guys used in the bunker. It's a high frequency discharge antenna. Let me show it to you. You can see it's a big antenna, and it's still in use today. It was, of course, would not be survivable if there was a nuclear strike. And right there tells you all about it. It's still used today by short ham radios people and enthusiasts. I'm going to pause it there. You can read that. And we enter through the gift shop.
Excuse me, sir.
No problem.
I should have smiled.
that would have been good. That is the re-entry vehicle that would come back through the atmosphere at 20 times the speed of sound. That is the nuclear device that would be in that re-entry vehicle. A 9 megaton nuclear device.
This all he has is 20 times the speed of sound. So this one takes the warhead.
My whole lung frequency is good on this.
We are now starting our tour to the ICBM missile silo. This is going to be so interesting. There's an existing nose cone there. This silo is the only silo left in existence.
Is this for everyone else? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like heights at all, so looking down there is like, whoa.
Look at the blast door.
Oh, yeah, huh?
There's another blast door. And another blast door.
So is this where we're supposed to stop? Or?
Yeah.
No, it made my mouth taste horrible.
So this would withstand a direct nuclear assault.
All right. Then you'll be all good there. All right. I know it's cramped, guys, but this section will be quick. All right. So right now we are inside of the bottom of the access portal. This is where the incoming crew would make their fourth and final phone call using that phone in the corner there. Now that fourth phone call was made in order to coincide the pushing of the open the door buttons. You have one button right here, and the other button is inside of the control center. Now both those buttons had to be pressed at the same time in order to unlock these 4 hydraulic actuated steel locking pins. That is because the door was on an electrically interlocked system, meaning you could not open it unless you pressed both those buttons at the same time. But after doing so, it would allow for this door here to be opened. And as you can tell, this is not a normal door you'll be finding at Home Depot or anywhere else. Now, do you guys happen to have any guesses as to how much this door weighs? 5 tons is close, but not quite it. It's actually 3 tons.
Okay.
Now 3 tons, 6,000 pounds, allowed for this area in here going forward, known as the hard area, to remain safe in case of any nuclear attacks, chemical leaks, and or natural disasters. And the area you guys are in right now is known as the soft area, and you would not be safe in any of those scenarios. That's why I like to keep you guys over there and me over here. And as we head through here, you're going to notice that the cables, the wires start to become very loose. They have a lot of slack to them. And the mission critical equipment on the walls is on shock isolating springs. Now that was done on purpose. So if the facility ever got shaken around, none of the wires would tear themselves apart and none of the equipment would be thrown off the walls. Speaking of the walls, they are 4 to 8 foot thick reinforced concrete inside of the hard area. And as we head through here, you're more than welcome to try to push or pull on this next upcoming blast lock door. It does move, but don't hurt yourselves. It does weigh 6,000 pounds, all right?
Okay.
Come on through, y'all.
Okay, it moves. Look at that. Does that feel? Oh, that does feel. Look at all the isolators. Well, they keep it nice and cool in here. Here is the control room.
This is where it hit the fan.
That's right, brother. Yeah, it was state of the art back then.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see the keys. There's one. Launch control.
Yeah.
There's the safe. There's the camera. Oh, there it is. That key? No, where's the other key? They had to do 2 keys simultaneous.
So, there's a blue bench here to sit down on, guys. You can take a seat now or anytime during the tour. I do not mind. That's what it's there for. Now, let's see here. We can scoot over a little bit this way. Let's fill in the gaps. You guys are good there. That way everybody can just take a better look at everything. Now, before we get started, guys, I always like to mention that we are inside of a historical artifact. Not just this room, though, not just the equipment in this room, but the whole facility, the whole museum, and its displays are historical artifacts. So let's please do our best to not touch anything we're not supposed to in order to preserve it for ourselves and hopefully for any future generations to come. Please and thank you. I'm not saying you guys will do that. I just like to mention it to every group is all. But since I did mention it already, if I see you doing that at any point, I will call you out on it. So don't get upset with me if I do, all right? Now, right here is a live feed that the crew on alert would have used to make sure the incoming crew wasn't being coerced for any reason. So if you saw a camera pointed towards you as you made your way down those stairs, that's actually the live feed is showing us right now. It's also where the third phone is located and the red coffee can right next to it. So if you missed it, you'll be able to see it on the way back up. And right now we are inside of a 3-story building. If you use the stairs in the back of the room to head upwards to the first floor, we will find the crew quarters. Inside of there is the sleeping, kitchen, and dining area for the crew, as well as the restroom for them. And in the crew quarters is the only spot that the crew is allowed to take their 4-hour break alone. Now the reason why I mention alone is because anywhere else in the facility, it was a mandatory 2-man policy, meaning you always had to have a buddy with you unless you were upstairs alone during your break. Everywhere else was a no-lone zone. And using those same stairs to head downwards to the 3rd floor, we have the maintenance room. That is where the facility's heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems are located, as well as an escape hatch that the crew would have used to escape if they were needed to. Now here in the 2nd floor, the control center is where the crew would have spent most of their 24-hour shift. So I hope you guys got enough sleep last night, because you're going to be here a while, all right? Now before I continue going forward, I'm going to ask for 2 volunteers. I need to see a show of hands for anybody who wants to be our commander and deputy commander.
Yes, you do it.
Commander, take a seat here. You want to be our deputy?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome, take a seat right over here.
Oh, sweet.
Oops, excuse me.
It doesn't move, man.
It's not swivel.
Awesome. So, we have our
Maybe it
missile
was.
combat crew commander, who is in charge of the crew. And we have our deputy missile combat crew commander, who is in charge of decoding any incoming messages. Now, these were the 2 officers of the 4-person crew, and they were the only ones allowed to carry weapons with them inside of the facility. Now, the other 2 members of the 4-person crew consisted of enlisted personnel. Now, we had the MFT, the Missile Facilities Technician, who was responsible for maintaining the facility's heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems. So the MFTs were facilities experts. And we also had the BMAT, the Ballistic Missile Analyst Technician. The BMAT was responsible for maintaining the missile's electronics and guidance system using the machines you see here behind me. Now, Commander, speaking of our guidance system, can you tell us which one of our 3 targets is highlighted here for us?
Target 2.
Target 2 is correct. Does anybody have any guesses as to where Target 2 may be located?
Moscow.
Moscow's a great guess, but I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know. Now, that is not because I'm uninformed though, that is because the crew and alert at the time would not have known where any of those targets were sent to, and to this day, that information is classified.
Oh, wow.
Nobody knows except for the people that need it and need to know. And that was done on purpose because it was thought that if the crew knew where any of those targets were sent to, they may have second thoughts before launching the missile, which is not what you want when doing your job as a retaliatory missile site. Real quick, sir, if I can have you just step right over there so we don't block the view of anybody. Thank you, sir. Now, in order to launch the missile, the crew would have to get the go-ahead from POTUS, the President of the United States. Now, POTUS would send the launch codes to the Pentagon. The Pentagon would then relay the launch of the missile message to Strategic Air Command, also known as SAC headquarters in Omaha, Nebraska. And then SAC headquarters would relay that message to all bomber bases, ballistic missile submarines, and the Titan II missile silos like you're in today. Now, once receiving that message, our deputy commander, here you go, ma'am, and our commander, here you go, sir, Our commanders would use these top secret binders to take note of the incoming message. I am going to play for us an original audio piece from when the silo was active. While that message plays, I'm going to ask everybody in here to pay attention to see if you can hear what the message is saying. You guys are more than welcome to open up your binders and pretend like you're writing the message in there if you want. You don't have to. Now, when the silo was active, that message would have came in through these speakers here. But today you're going to hear it come in from behind me. Here we go.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Did everybody get that?
Yep.
Yeah? Repeat it.
Charlie
messing with you
Hotel,
guys.
1, 2.
Even if you repeated it correctly, I would not be able to tell you if it's correct or not. I have not memorized it. Don't worry, guys. We weren't actually meant to memorize that message. Luckily, the crew and alert did not have to memorize that message either. Instead, they would have written down that message in their binders, and after writing it down, they would also swap binders. So you guys can swap your binders and entertain us, please. Thank you, guys. Now, after swapping binders, they would check each other's notes to ensure they both received the same message. Does that message look good to you guys? No? Somebody's getting fired. Now, if this was the launch of the missile message the crew had received and confirmed they received, what do you guys think they would have to do to verify that the message actually came from the president and not just some random person? Any guesses? Call?
Like a specific code, maybe?
That is correct. Now, first though, I do want to address the call answer because imagine at the same time you're trying to call, you have several bomber bases, ballistic missile submarines, and tying two silos trying to make the same call at the same time. It's going to be too many calls going on at once. Now, one of my favorite answers I ever received for that question was when somebody said to Google it.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be very safe or secure, but also not possible when the silo was active. Instead, you are correct. Now, the commanders would have headed over to that red safe in the corner there, right behind y'all. Now, that is an EVO safe, an emergency war order safe. The commanders would have headed over to their own personal padlocks that only they knew the code to in the whole world. It was actually their own personal property. So at the end of the shifts, they would take those home with them, and the incoming commanders would put on their own padlocks. Now, once gaining access to that safe, they would find several what is known as these cookie cards. Now, within the incoming launch of the missile message, there were three vital pieces of information. The first one being the authentication code. Excuse me. Now, with the authentication code, the commanders would have found the correct cookie card amongst the several inside of the safe. They would then take it out and snap it open like a fortune cookie, hence the name cookie card. They would then take out the authentication slip to verify that the message actually came from the president and not just some random person. Now, after confirming they had to launch the missile message, they would also take out the launch keys from within the safe. They weren't just hanging around here ready to be used, they were kept secure. They would then continue to decode for the second vital piece of information, which was the launch time for the missile. Does anybody know what time zone the launch time is set to?
Greenwich Mean.
Correct. Now, Zulu time, also known as GMT or Greenwich Mean Time. It's the same thing. That is the 0 point from which all time zones are calculated. You can actually see it represented right over here. Now that tells us that it is the same time here as it is all around the world when using Zulu time, which is very helpful because imagine you're trying to launch a 9 megaton warhead, and at the same time you're trying to figure out what time it is for you compared to Moscow time or DC time or Omaha, Nebraska time, let alone trying to factor in daylight savings times. It's going to be a little bit too much confusion. So Zulu time is the way to go for launching these missiles. And the third vital piece of information within the incoming launch of the missile message was the butterfly valve lock unlock code. Now the commander would have given that code to the BMAT. The BMAT would then enter the code here and repeat it to the commander to confirm it is the correct code. After confirming, the BMAT would then press this operate button here and it would unlock the butterfly valves. I would not open the valves just yet, like so, but would allow them to be open like so, which is very important because 4 of these valves sat within the missile, and within the valves were the 2 chemical fuel propellants needed to cause the hypergolic reaction, the spark, to get the missile up and going. So without being able to open these valves and have those chemicals mix with each other, without that butterfly valve lock unlock code within the incoming launch the missile message, you would not be able to launch the missile. It would be like trying to drive a car with no fuel, and that's not going to work. Speaking from personal experience for you guys, right? Now, once the crew had those 3 vital pieces of information, they would wait for launch time, turn the keys, and launch the missile. Now, we are going to do that in just a second, but first I'll be explaining what the control center will look like after the turning of the keys. Now, once the keys are turned, we will see the first square turn on right next to it, the green launch enable light, telling us that the BVL code is inputted correctly, the butterfly valve code. Secondly, our battery activated light turns on, letting us know that the 2 dry batteries within the missile have began charging. Now it takes a total of 28 seconds for those batteries to charge. When 28 seconds passes for us, we will see the 3rd square turn on, the APS power light. APS power light on lets us know that the missile is running on its own power, no longer needing the facility's power to run. And if I can have you at the site right over here, please. Thank you. Now, once the APS power light turns on, we will see the 4 square turn on, the silo soft light. That lets us know that the silo door above the missile has began opening. Now when that happens, we will hear a ringing alarm noise going off in here. It's going to sound like this. Now the reason that alarm goes off is because there's these motion radar detectors above ground that would have rang that alarm in here when any motion was detected. Usually that was meant for any incoming intruders, but it would also go off in the scenario that the silo door began opening. And immediately afterwards, our guidance go light turns on. Guidance go light on tells us that the missile knows where it's at, and it knows where it's going, and it will no longer need these machines here to tell it where to go. Now this silo side was always set to target 2. And one of my favorite answers I ever got as to where target 2 is located was when somebody said that target 2 is between targets 1 and 3. I thought that was really clever, so I was like to mention it. And then afterwards, our fire engines light, second to last, lets us know that the butterfly valves have opened and the hypergolic reaction between the 2 chemical fuel propellants, Aerosine 50 and nitrogen tetroxide, has started. Now when that happens, there's going to be a fire in the silo. So we're going to hear a klaxon horn going off in here, warning us of the fire. But that is what you want when launching the missile. And finally, but not least, our liftoff light will turn on, telling us that the missile has started heading towards its target. Now, Commander, you have your key right in front of you. Deputy Commander, your key's right over here. Now, before y'all turn these keys, is there something anybody can tell me about the distance between these 2 keys here?
Far enough so only 2 people could do it.
Correct. It takes 2 people to turn those keys at the same time, which is another safety measure put into place to ensure that one person cannot go rogue in here and try and launch that missile by themselves. Now, Commander, I'm going to have you count us down from 3 to 0. When you say 0, you will both turn your keys to the right, clockwise. It'll be that way for you, it'll be towards yourself. You can sit or stand during the process, however you like. But whenever you're ready, Commander, count us down and launch a missile for us, all right?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Awesome, you guys can let go now. So we got the green launch enable light on, telling us the BVL code is inputted correctly. Battery activated light on tells us the missile is starting to charge up. In the meantime, you guys can sit back, relax, and smoke your cigarettes. The reason I like to mention that is because there is an ashtray here that was used by the cruising alert back in the day. Very different times when the silo was active.
Yeah.
Now, soon the APS power light will turn on, telling us the missile is running on its own power. It is now on, so we're going to hear that ringing alarm noise here. The silo door has now began opening. The guidance go light is now on. The missile knows where it's going. And before we know it, the butterfly valves will open, causing a hypergolic reaction between the 2 chemical propellants. So we're going to hear that klaxon horn going off in here any second now. And then, lift off.
Wow.
So, you guys feel that?
Yeah. You think they would actually feel something in here?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because the reason I'm glad you asked is because you may have felt something emotionally, or you may have felt the vibration of the klaxon horn, but besides that, you shouldn't have felt anything because, well, we didn't actually launch a missile.
Yeah, true.
But even if you were the crew and the leader at the time, and you did launch a missile, you would have felt the exact same thing that we just felt. Nothing. That is because this room is being suspended by 8 huge shock isolating springs that allow the room to remain stable in case of any attack and or launching of the missile. Very huge springs all around us, keeping us suspended and stable. And did anybody count how long it took from the turning of the keys to the point of liftoff?
28
Any
seconds.
guesses? 28 seconds? Too quick?
Milliseconds, I think.
No? 30 seconds too
Less.
quick? It's actually 58 seconds
Oh,
to be
wow.
more precise. Now, 58 seconds is the quick response time we wanted in order to ensure we can do our job as a retaliatory missile site. But before the Titan II missiles that sand silos like this, we had the Titan I and Atlas missiles. Now, those previous missiles sat in silos as well, but before being launched, those missiles had to be hoisted up above ground, fueled up, and then launched. It took a total of about 30 minutes to launch those previous missiles, which is not the response time you wanted in order to ensure the concept of mutually assured destruction. On that note, I just want to say thank you to our commander and deputy commander here for volunteering for us. Come on, applause, guys.
Yay.
I'll take those binders back from you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now,
What's the abort? How long have it started? Was there
So-
an abort?
once you turn those keys, there is no going back. There's no human input that you can do to stop it from launching, or you cannot detonate it in the air before it hits its target. There's no going back, although the missile could abort itself from launching. If any of the steps along the way failed, it would stop itself from launching.
Oh, okay.
That's the only way it wouldn't go.
Correct. Once you turn those keys, there's no going back. Any other questions?
For self-destruct?
Nope.
How long before it reaches its site? I mean, I know you don't know specifically
I'll
what the
go
site.
over that a little bit more in the next portion of the tour.
Okay.
How they train the officers and the other two personnel in that procedure?
I don't know the exact process of the training, but it is a volunteer position. Once you get the job, you go to basic, you go to your tech school, and then all 4 members were trained in doing the job of launching the missile. So if any
Well, see how everything's loose, so
Yeah. Okay, you got your hard hat on, because
there's another glass one.
keep going.
Yeah, you sit all the way down the cable haul. So we are heading down what is called the cable haul towards the missile. There she is. There it is. Oh, almost to the top of it. Any other views over here? Oh wow, look at that.
Construction of a zero way.
What's that?
Direction of 0.
Man, technology.
I could get back to that. Thank you.
No, no. I was managing Alright, real quick guys, we're going to gather around over here over the next portion of the tour. I'll let you guys explore some more afterwards.
Did you want to go?
Oh, thank
What?
you. Pictures behind me. Oh, there's it.
Gather around, gather around. Alright, can everybody see and or hear me?
Yes.
Good, I love being the center of attention. Now right now guys, we're inside of the Tyne 2 missile silo. The silo itself goes down 150 feet deep, and we're currently on level number 2 of 9 levels total for the silo. Now, the Tyne 2 missile itself is the largest land-based ICBM ever deployed by the United States. It stands at 103 feet tall and 10 feet in diameter. And when launched, the missile could reach a distance upwards of 6,000 miles, and it can hit its target in about 30 minutes, very quickly. Now this missile here was given to us by Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas, and it was never filled up with any of its chemical fuel propellants, which makes it safe for museum and display use. Now without its fuel, the missile stands at 15,000 pounds, but when fueled up, the missile weighed 330,000 pounds. A lot of fuel. Now, all in all, there were 141 Tyne 2 missiles ever built. 32 were launched for research and development, 49 were launched for operational training, and 54 sat in Tyne 2 missile silos like you're in today. Now 54 may seem like overkill, but that was done on purpose because the Air Force knew that not all missiles would reach their targets due to equipment and or technical failure. And after the deactivation of the Tyne 2 missile project, 14 of the missiles were actually repurposed for the launching of weather satellites. Now, the reason they were deactivated though was because we reached an agreement with the Soviet Union known as the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, the SALT Treaty. That is where we agreed we would destroy our Tyne 2 missile silos, but during those talks we asked if we could keep one for educational purposes, and they agreed as long as they could keep one as well. Now their educational site is located where the Soviet Union used to be, and the educational site that we were allowed to keep is the one you're in right now. But in order to keep this as an educational site, it had to remain inactive, no longer able to launch a missile. So there were a few stipulations for that. One of them being that the silo door above the missile can't fully open. So if you haven't explored above ground yet, I highly recommend you do once we're done in here. If you do, you'll see that the silo door sits on these 2 tracks, but all those tracks are being blocked off by these huge concrete blocks that prevent the silo door from fully opening. On the other side of that, there's a glass dome that prevents the silo door from fully closing. Now that glass dome is really cool for us because it allows us to see down into the silo from top to bottom. You get that bird's eye view through it, but that glass dome wasn't made that way for us. That glass dome was made so that Soviet satellites can take a look down into the tip of the missile, the re-entry vehicle, and make sure that there's no warhead inside of it anymore. There's actually a square cutout inside of the re-entry vehicle that we can still see that shows us there's nothing inside. Now on that note guys, I just want to say thank you for joining us here at the Tyne 2 Missile Museum. I really hope you enjoyed your tour. If you did, I would appreciate it if you left a good review online mentioning my name's Steve. If it's a bad review, my name is Joseph. Alright? Besides that guys, have some fun exploring. If you haven't already, I recommend you go to the final window. If you look at the bottom right of that final window, you will find a mirror that allows you to see the whole missile itself. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them here. Thank you.
Which one is the final window?
That one.
Thank you.
We'll have to write it where we are.
See that mirror? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Fantastic.
We went to Boston and toured the USS Enterprise, which is the oldest commissioned naval. I mean, it's back from the 1800s. Yeah. And the lower you go on it, then the further down into the hall you go, the more shallow the floor or ceiling was. Because, you have to do that to offset if you're being large. Oh, okay. He's like, oh my goodness. That was backache by the time. Luckily, it was a lot younger than us. Oh, I never so long ago.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Joseph.
Just Steve.
I'm just kidding.
Thanks for the help, man. Have a good rest of your day.
There's the other phone.
Oh, I missed the, where,
Yeah, the coffee
thing.
can.
as I was looking, there it is.
Yep, there it is.
There. Oh, yeah.
Whoa, watch your step.
Yeah. Well, whoa, whoa. Well, that's hot.
That's true. I kept thinking I gotta get back on the stair stepper again.
Stage 2 engine.
that's old sign.
Yeah. No, I think that's what it was, original sign.
Yeah, because I don't think you're allowed to smoke out here, period, right?
That was good.